Uh, this is my second time trying to record this. I started yesterday, and it was hard. And I just, not only I think I was tired, whatever, and wasn't thinking as sharp as I would like for the way that I have these past few videos, but I think it just stuck out. Just how much of a hypocrite I am. How much, what makes the Bible so different than any book? I mean, obviously, I've spoken to all of literature pointing to the fact of the innermost realities that people pretend doesn't exist, but that you're capable of doing a lot of wrong, and you're often closer to it than you think. But the Bible doesn't just speak to that idea, it shows you right where you're at. And yeah, I've been, not even that I haven't been who I want to be, but I've just completely lost grasp with what I would even want. And it's not an easy question. And again, I spoke to my friend Brent. He's this older gentleman. He is a grandkid my age. He's in his 70s. And he tells me he has no idea what he wants to do when he's older. Like, that's literally what he said. But it's just, I've been second guessing everything recently. And it speaks to the service at my church. We're going through Ecclesiastes right now, actually, which is a wonderful book, and that's not what I'm reading here. But I would say the thesis of that, if I could, is taking anything as far as it can go for itself doesn't matter except God. And once you take that as far as it can go, and you can't, but once you pour into that, you realize that encapsulates everything else. And that's really, like, the whole message series that as we're going through Ecclesiastes is everything matters, which is ironic because literally just, if you read Ecclesiastes, it's literally like, it's all vanity. Vanity, vanity, vanity. Anything under the sun, vanity. Meaninglessness. Which speaks to the paradox. This is something that's been making itself so clear to me recently, is just, it's just things that are impossibly true. And I think I've spoken to this at some extent. This concept that C.S. Lewis put perfectly, and then I heard my pastor John Ciata talk about it this morning, and particularly when it comes to knowledge, but C.S. Lewis was more putting it in reference of one's own humility and the will for repenting from wrongdoing. But it's basically like, the more you understand, the more knowledge you acquire, the more you realize how much you don't have. Like, the smartest people, people that have spent their lives dedicated to understanding it, have written an entire textbook, understand that, so much more profoundly, that there's stuff that they just do not understand. And that's never not the case. But and as C.S. Lewis put in his book Mere Christianity, that is the case when it comes to morality. Someone that considers themselves a good person often is not necessarily the case, or less so than what they claim to be. Whereas someone that is genuinely good is, in so doing, notices their falling short thereof. And that's the case. And these passages I'm going to go through, this might be a long. I might just commit and just. I'm not doing the whole sermon, but like all of chapter 5, which would be a lot. But again, like I already started to. I need to just let it come to me. Just speak to what. Like there's been like people that have dissected this far better than I ever could. Particularly on Peterson Academy, Dr. Jordan Peterson, one of his courses is the Sermon on the Mount, and he goes into the Beatitudes in depth and like can analyze that psychologically. So there's no point for me to try and do what other people have done. I'm gonna say what I can understand from it, which is a lot of what I just said, of just realizing the existence of that impossibility of something making more sense than something being despite despite it not making sense. Like I mean that's I don't need to try and overcomplicate and put it all poetically. God help me, I might be able to by the end of this, or think of something to say it, but that's something I began to understand the most when I attended therapy over the summer. I almost a year ago at this point was not mentally well, and it was the first time I really made like an actual effort and committed to like trying to get help and like talking to my parents about it. And then I ended up going to this like brief like programs. It was like 30 days of just actually you like meet a few times a week with like different people. Like one's an actual therapist, one's like a peer support, and they gave me a bunch of like handouts and just things to work on, and there's that. And then I stayed with like ended up finding a different therapist and spoke with her for a bit following, and on probably would have been better to continue going for some time. That's something I'll always advocate for. Like there's therapy is something like there obviously is still a stigma of mental illness, and like despite everyone being able to claim that being the case, it doesn't make it easier. Like understanding that it's hard and like weird to talk about doesn't mean that it's any easier to actually talk about it. Like some things are cliches and then also actually exist. But when I was in that program, this is what just rang into my head. Like it's like one of the deepest truths I now understand and hold on to. And it was put this way: multiple things can be entirely true at the same time. It's not like a little bit true or like untrue. Like it is truth, even if they're seemingly contradictory. And yeah, well, actually, this would be something I write out. And for me, the example was you can love your parents with all of your heart, but you can also grieve the relationship you wish you had with them. I'm not going to write it all out. Now, these things seem to not work, like at all. It really doesn't make sense. But what, like there's no, like this is what I mean. Like there's no right way to understand it. It's not like 1 + 1 = 2. It's not like you're reading something in a sequence and like a historical narrative shows this and that and it lines up to be the case. It's mutual being, even though they're in competition with each other, and they're both within the entire truth. Like this is all the truth, and it's never not the case. And again, I'm trying. Like I keep hesitating. Not even hesitating now, but I keep like trying. I'm like, there's something I need to work through. There's something I need to discover and pull out of myself to be able to say it beyond that, because like I feel like it explains so much more, because it like that is where the impossibility of God lies, because it's so much of what is one way and then one other way. There's no possible way they can both be true at the same time, but like it just is. And like it is impossible for both of these to be true, but they're not. It's not impossible because it is. And I don't know. Regardless, let's read the word. We're starting Matthew chapter 5, the Sermon on the Mount. Seeing the crowds, he went up on the mountain, and when he sat down, his disciples came to him, and he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when others revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For so they persecuted the prophets who were before you. Okay. This will tie back to a lot of what I was saying before. I forget exactly which episode. Or maybe I haven't. So I need to just start and build upon everything I need to say. I mean, there's so much there. But, what matters, I'll start with what I have said, of death being kind of the sealing reality, maybe is how I could put it. It's, you lived because you will die. And then beyond that, your will lives on after you die. And everything that you left behind, and the honest truth, and the love, like the grief that you feel for someone that passes away is because the love was real. And it's, and it is different. And it should be painful. God loves creation. But one thing that I've been just discovering more and more is just how grand spiritual creation is. And all that lies beyond material and this earthly life, because, and honestly, that's what's been leading me to second guess just my whole career path and such, because there's nothing else that matters. There's nothing, and that's wrong. Like I just contradicted myself, because God even loves the things that are minute and like seemingly minute and small, and that's probably what you need to be working on the most. And I'm talking to a mirror, but the little things that you avoid are what you need to actually do. But when it comes to the pinnacle of value, your own eternity should matter a little bit. I mean, like at least more than death. And that is something I've spoken to. It's like God, like the concept of God is at least as scary as the concept of dying, because he's what lies beyond it. He's greater than it. He himself overcame it, and he himself is what you will see. But that doesn't mean that until then that there's nothing to be done. And in fact, like, that's something, I mean, first of all, like, laziness is a sin. Like, do, yeah, okay, I guess this is where it should be. A misconception, and something I often fall into, is, like, the rules in Scripture, and the things commanded, and the things, like, yes, some of them are, thou shalt not. Like there's things you shouldn't do. And I think what is incredibly beautiful in Christ claiming to fulfill the entire law is almost flipping everything on its head. It's not, I mean, like, obviously, like, it's just the most basic concept. Maybe I should stop saying that, because I did just point out the smallest things that are, and you, another thing, sorry, this is all over the place. Again, I'm not as clear as I have been, I feel like. I don't know. Like, I feel less capable right now than I was the past few times I've recorded, but, like, Spirit lead me. I want to be able to get this out properly. But, it's not just rules to stop you from doing anything particularly. I mean, like, obviously there's things that you could, I mean, even just a concept of obvious, like, if it's something just so abundantly clear, it's like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't do that. But what's so fascinating, and what I was just gonna say, that I before I just pitied myself and explained that I'm not doing a good job explaining, you forget everything. Like, if you start to lose a little bit, like, obviously there's things that'll stick to some extent, but you are not as deeply engaged with understanding the breadth of and depth of what you are learning unless you're in that class. Like, you need to be in like anything that's hard takes consistent practice. Like, yeah, it takes practice to get there, and it's easier to stay there once you've been there, but, like, the best athletes are still practicing constantly to be able to do that thing. Like, you don't, like, time moves on. Like, you need to continuously be doing certain things, and, like, even just certain thoughts and habits, like, there's, you can't simply become a type of person and now you are. You need to be that person, which means actually being that. And I think that's that's what really just connects and, like, made that God, Christ fulfilling the law, is he literally is the law of Moses. It's not a set of rules. He is the life himself. Not, like, again, not just doing that and not just calling you to not do certain things, but it's actually, like, the faith is action. The faith is doing. The faith is confronting. The faith is, I think one of the most profound one here is chapter 5, verse 9. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. It's not the peaceful. It's not people, like, it's not a casual thing. It's not passive. It's not, like, you're not good because you avoid bad. It's an active practice. It's a striving toward. And that ties back to the explanation I said C.S. Lewis, and even my pastor today was talking about. The more you pour in, the more you realize there's more. like the further along you go, the even further you will be taken. And that is something Jesus does talk to, like, and even in the form of reciprocity, the more you put out, you will be given back tenfold, 30-fold, 60-fold, 100-fold. Like, I forget the exact numbers, but. And I think very practically that is also the case. You, like, if you are genuinely recognized by those around you to be so generous and be doing all the things that you can and really trying, like, it's very difficult for them not to want to do that back to you. Like, at least a little bit. And that being the case, I do understand how you could just see that as naturally being the case, and not, and just like how, like, why do we need God if we're able to like understand that and discover that? It's like, okay, fair enough, until you actually look into what that would mean evolutionarily. Like, if you have a very secular view on how all came to be, and we evolved, and consciousness is just a byproduct of like adaptation and perpetuating towards greater fitness and survival and adaptability, it leaves a lot out. Like, you can't possibly explain, I mean, first of all, the depths of consciousness. It really, like, it does not make sense. But even even given that, and like what you can experience and try to understand, morality itself, like the way that we try, like the things that we will to do and try, and again, even just saying that sentence, we as a group, is antithetical to adaptive evolution. You, like, to perpetuate towards fitness would mean that those that are unfit are left behind, and it's natural selection. It's like, oh well, we're smart enough to not do that now because we can love everyone. It's like that doesn't make sense biologically though. Like, you wouldn't have that if there wasn't something greater that had a purpose for existence beyond developing. And that even, like, again, just tying right back to that idea, the more you develop, the more you realize there's no limit to development. Like, if surviving was the goal, why is there nothing that can satiate our will? Why is there nothing that can fill our heart? Why is there nothing? It's like, okay, I am sufficient. I have food. Even given like all society how it runs, like, say that just is the case and it's optimal for every human being, which obviously it falls short of, but like every person's able to just work 9 to 5, feed, have a family, have water, clean themselves, and repopulate, and just keep doing that. It's like, you, like, if I'm being honest, like, I find it extraordinarily difficult to do that even when I'm doing this. Like, I have times where like I'm paralyzed in overthinking of just how efficient I can be doing something. Like, I don't even know what it needs to be, and I have no idea what I'm meant to be doing in this life. It's like, how is that adaptive? How did I get to this point? And like, there's we yearn for something we cannot grasp in this lifetime, other than moments of letting it in. Like, you can't reach something that fills you eternally. Like, I mean, you're welcome to try, and please prove me wrong. Like that, like, I want that. If you can, as someone who's claimed and like genuinely believes and understands how like, I think I've had periods of time in my life being self-actualized. Like, I'm not saying it can't be good and having all of your needs met, but even then, you're still looking forward. Like, there's no upward limit of goodness, and the opposite of that, there's no end to the pit of hell you can fall yourself into. But basically, the Beatitudes, I mean, I could go through each one. The poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. I'll just reference St. Moses the Black quote. I don't know if I want to have it verbatim, but you fast, but Satan does not hunger. You labor, but Satan does not sleep. The only way you can outperform Satan is through humility, for The devil has no humility. I think that might be it. To understand that you'll never grasp those things, and that it's not your job to do. To allow grace upon yourself. To just give your being into something more. To trust that you can get it done. And I understand this the most physically. Like that's something I've really been struggling with, as I've mentioned, eating. But just like I'm not like I'm kind of just lifting and like doing whatever right now, and just like trying to figure out how to even just maintain like normal workouts and just day-to-day life. And like I'm just trying to figure myself out. But a lot of times, like the past few years, like I've needed to just chase something. Like I ran a marathon. I powerlifted before that. I could pause bench 315. I boxed. I just strived to get better at that. And like I would actually get pretty good at things. And it's like I constantly need that. But there were times, especially with running, and then there's a little bit actually right after my marathon. Like I think I sprained my foot a little bit. Like I never went to the doctor. It was like a little not great for a little over a month. So I did a lot of biking then. And also then I realized, because I was very new to it, but I was still in like very good shape. Like I just ran a marathon. But a lot of workouts where it's like there's not much else to think about. I mean, it's a little different when something takes all of your focus because it's new and you have to practice how to do each tiny little movement correctly, to learn how to do the whole thing as like one sequence of just pressing that button in your head, and then get to the point where the whole combination is that one button, so then you can do like a whole thing while thinking, while every single workout like that's what's fun. And again, tying back to practice, but like I was saying, just exercising like cardio stuff is a little more simple. You can just do it, and it's there were workouts hard enough where I'm like, I literally am terrified, which is a good thing. Like, I do need to get back to that at some point where like I'm progressing something that's like actually hard. But it would also be the case that I am not sure if I would be able to do it. I'm like I set the thing like on the Peloton. I'm like I put in the hardest workout. Like I'm climbing a mountain, and I'm like I literally don't know if I can do this. And this was just like a lesson I learned honestly from one of the Peloton ladies, like doing that. I forget exactly, but submitting to the fact that you're going to do it, like despite the evidence, despite like anything that's gonna get in the way. And like I just kept meditating on that. Like anytime I exercise, especially I started getting back into running like during the winter, and I would just do this really hard, just tempo miles on a treadmill. I would do 6, and then I got up to 7, and I was just progressing that, and I got down to like 640 something tempo miles. And like for me that's insane. Like running 7, I think it was 643 was like the speed I did on that treadmill, with like probably about a 2-minute rest in between. I would do like a minute, but like also the slowing down, speeding up time. But yeah, like every single time, like I'd be dying on the first one, and I'm like, wow, it's pretty cool how I'm gonna do this. Like I don't like it's like wow, I really like I don't think I can do this, but like it's cool knowing that I'm going to. And those would be the best. Like if I like the more I meditated on that, the more I just thought about that, like were the best workouts of my life, and genuinely would do things that surprised me. And and that is, I mean, first of all, just a practice to have in general, and like that you need to stay in practice with. And I'm speaking to myself, but like you lose everything that you hear, everything that you read. You need to stay in practice with it. And it's great to learn as much as you can about whatever, and like it is fascinating, and like you should. There are things to just go and experience. Like there'll be a show, there'll be a book, there'll be something that like you want to read now, and then like you'll go watch something else, and you go like, I love movies. I am going to always go and watch movies. But you know what? There are some greats that I will just keep rewatching. And one like I will watch Princess Bride throughout my life. There's things I don't even understand why it means everything to me, but like that, there's a lot that's special about that movie, as well as others. But when it comes to trusting God and basically like the whole story of scriptures, I would say it could well be summed up through a perspective as that. It's like I don't think any of this is possible, honestly. Like I really doubt. But I'm choosing to believe that God's already won. And that he understands and that like it's going to be good. And it's like even if I fail the thing that like I'm trying to believe for right now anyway, it's like then it's not for me. But that also goes into just laziness. Like if you're and like I only see myself right now. I have no idea who's watching this. If you're not doing what you should be, well, it might be pretty obvious. Like you need be honest with yourself. I need to go to the library and get my schoolwork done after this. So that's going to happen. Oh, yes. And that's something takes a lot of practice and you can fall out of it. But being poor in spirit, I think, is just that. It's understanding that you are not spirited with the victory. That your spirit is giving it back. And therefore, like ones who do that, like I'm doing something hard and it's like, wow, I understand that this is meant to happen, if it's meant to happen, and that's not decided by myself, but I'm giving this back. And like if it's specifically God and this is Jesus who's talking, you're giving it back. You're letting your spirit up to God. Therefore yours is the kingdom of heaven. You are then given back the Holy Spirit that will take you to that, to heaven, but to do like I'm trying to think about it practically though. Like you are trying to do this one thing, this one workout, and you literally can't. Like you rationalize to yourself like how hard it is and that you can't really do it, but you choose to believe that it is meant to happen, and then like even beyond that, like you genuinely injure yourself or something and it's not meant to happen. It's still the belief is still greater that was also like no matter what happens to you, it is meant to happen. And I think that's what the first Beatitude is speaking to, is there's nothing you can hold on to. There's not like your life could be turned upside down in a minute. Like your spirit, your own will is not what determines anything. So the more that you're able to let go of what's difficult to and just give it to God. And first of all, that's a good definition of just what you might not even be conscious of that you worship. It's what you can't let go of. Like what you hold on to even more than yourself. And I think in the same way that you can't understand God, anytime you try to hold on is still like you're holding on to what you imagine him to be. And it needs to be a plead, an offer, a choice, and faithfully just giving yourself up. So I think that's a lot of what that's speaking to. If you're poor in spirit, yours will be the kingdom of heaven. And then blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Just simple reciprocity, similar to that, but just more Jesus is affirming love of creation itself, I think, a little bit here. There are things worth mourning for in this life. There is tragedy. There is hardship. There, even in yourself, there are things, like my experience. I only came to God the when I was becoming saved. Like I mean, it's still an impossible thing to explain. Like it's what actually happened is beyond my comprehension. But the way I could explain like pieces of it was that there was like a period of time I genuinely, it's like I started to understand the weight of just like all the mistakes I've made. I mean, I was not well for a bit of time before that, and like I understood how much I sucked, like how much I messed up, how much it wasn't even like regrets. Like I don't deserve to even regret this. Like I've done awful things, and I do think understanding that and being able to mourn over who you were, and even because it's never entirely bad either, and that was something I've started to experience recently is I mean, it's like a meme and like cliche at this point, but it's like your new life costs your old one, and it's something I've definitely been faltering with because like I still, it's like I go back and forth, but there's been things that have changed in me that I mean, I can't take credit for it, but it's so far separated from who I was, but it's still painful to realize it's like I'm losing who I was, and although a lot of it was awful, and I wouldn't choose any other way to separate that, and I need to separate more, but it's still painful. It's like dying to self is not an easy task, and bearing your cross, it's never meant to be easy. But also, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. And can I just like paradoxical reciprocity? You being meek and humble. Like, okay, I think I'll just go a bit more general because I wanna read more. If you simply do if you do nothing but what can be done in every situation, and this was a thing I probably need to try and put into practice. Like there's certain biblical principles I should probably just like glue into like actually like put up in my room or something and like pray on daily. Because there's certain things that like work well for me and like I don't want to lose, and it's like I kind of forget a lot. Like I need to learn all of it a little bit, but like practically there's only a certain amount you can really be applying to your life at any one point, and then you kind of fall out of practice a bit with it. But one of them was really just baby steps, and I kind of spoke on that a little bit. It's like avoiding the easy like little things. It's like if you don't think it's worthwhile enough to be doing, but like it's something good, it's like there's nothing not worthwhile enough to do right. If like again, James, you clean your car today. That was something you said you're going to do. Just doing the little tiny things right, and not seeing as anything beneath you. And it's like you can't, if you do that, I mean, this is an impossible example because you're not perfect, and again, you have eternity beckoning within you. Like you yearn for something greater than what's just of the earth. But like if you are meek enough to do everything that could possibly be expected of you, it's like how could you not then have everything? Like if if you are just genuine and humble and like just do every possible thing and not say you're above it, then every possible thing is done. Like then nothing is impossible. Like if you like, there's no upward limit to that. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. I think that's the exact same thing, except I'd say like less practically or like socially. This is more just internally. Like if you align not what you think, not what you understand, not even what you practice, but your genuine desire that leads you to practice those things towards righteousness itself. I mean, that's a thing that'll come out, like, seek and you shall find. If you yearn for what is good, you'll be able to see, and you understand that we humans have a confirmation bias. If like what you're looking for is what you will find. If you already have like preconceptions of like what something is, and then you look at it, and I mean that's just always the case. I mean, your life experience shapes how you interpret every movie, film, every bit of media that you see, and that's always the case. But if you practice, and again, like it takes practice to get to a point, and it takes practice to stay there, and more than I think anyone realizes. But if you can genuinely set your aim to where you even begin to pour yourself out into anything to be towards righteousness, then it like you're gonna be all right. Like you will be satisfied. But that's the thing, is we let other things interfere with that. We let things cloud us. We let things judge everything. And then, I mean, yeah, bit of practical, just, again, yelling at myself. Nothing good happens after, like, 9 p.m., bro. Like, just, like, have a night routine. Like, you can watch a show, whatever. Like, it's better to read before bed. I even have red light glasses. I sometimes do, like, a whole routine. Like, there's no reason to not... You enjoy doing that. You enjoy reading. You enjoy praying. You enjoy... writing a notebook, like not all the time, but like it's always worth it. And then you wake up and don't feel horrible. Like sleep well, go like aim towards goodness, and you just like as you get tired, you should not trust your thoughts, because literally you're not thinking as straight. Like you like the day and nighttime is symbolic, but also literally it's darker. And literally, you spent your whole day in the light, and now your brain is not as bright. Go to bed. Stop looking at your phone. Go to bed. Okay. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. Yeah. Same. Yeah. Same. I mean, this is all just what you get is what you get. And I say this is more specific towards other people's actions, unless your own actual doing. This is your response to their actions, and therefore people's responses to your actions would be what you do. And that's, yeah, I'll just sum it up there. And then, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Now that's not receiving something. That's being allowed to see God. I might have to spend some more time with that. Nothing's coming to me now, but that just is interesting to me, because the rest of them are like, you do this and you'll receive it. You do that and you'll receive it. You are, so you will be more. But this one, you have pure heart. That might be seeing God in everything. That might be not quenching the spirit, and being still enough and patient enough, and pure is the word used, to the point where every story to you just echoes the biblical narrative. Man, this is, again, like some of when I was saved, like some of the best moments of my life, just this past year, I was training for the marathon. I would have what I call gratitude attacks sometimes while running. And I've had some recently, not as potent, but it's literally like you're doing something so good, and like, yeah, it's a runner's high, but like it would be so good because like I'm literally like praying the whole time. And it is something cool. Like if you have some time, which first of all you do, unless you have kids, which even then people figure it out. And go run at least like a half marathon. Like go see what your body's capable of. And like maybe not, but like go chase something. Like your body is ridiculous and is capable of being able to do anything. And like you need to really believe that. But I think what this is speaking to is a pure heart doesn't need anything else. It is being satisfied with what you have because you see God, and God is more than everything you could ever need. And again, it's like I'm a hypocrite for saying that. I still doubt, and I still struggle, and I still am clouded, and I still quench the spirit, and I still do bad things that get in the way, and it just makes it unclear and unpure. But those moments and those gratitude texts I was talking about, I'll explain a little more. I'm literally like running, and it's as if like it's like every single blade of grass is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Especially when it's just a gorgeous day and there's like a breeze and like the trees are just. I mean, I live in a gorgeous area, and I usually go on this really nice trail when I was doing my long runs. And again, like use your body. I was never a runner whatsoever. I got up to a point where like I was doing workouts with like a 20-mile run. Like every other week I would do like a really long track workout, and even then I did like a 16-mile track workout with like a 3.5-mile warm up and then like tempo 2 miles and like a cool down. But on like the other weeks where I was doing a long run, like I got up to a 22-mile long run. But some of them were really, really good. I think my 18-miler, I didn't do like a specific workout with like rolling sets of anything. Like I just negative split the entire thing. So I was joking about it. It was like a 17-mile warm up and then like a 6:30 mile, and like that was cool. And it was literally like for the whole last bit, like I just kept getting faster and like it felt good. Like you can just breathe, like just more than you thought you could, and then everything around you was just like I said. I could have spent a day looking at a single blade of grass, and it's like I'm flying by, and there's so much around me. It's like you're just overwhelmed with beauty. And I think that's what it's speaking to. Like, to just throw all else away, you're left with what's pure. And to be able to be satisfied with less, I think, just is even just a secular virtue in itself. Like, if you, like, this can leave God out of the conversation. If you just do what you do throughout the day and then practice being grateful for it, you're going to be more grateful for it. Like it takes effort. Like gratitude is something to practice, but if you're able to enjoy and be more fulfilled with what you have, then you don't need more. There's actually a quote from, I don't remember where he got it from, but John, he's like the leader of the Bible study I go to once a week on Wednesdays. He said, again, I forget where he got it from, but it's like being at peace is like a declaration of war to, I think it was like commercialism or something. Like I forget exactly what it was, but I don't think he said capitalism, but like something like what they, like the evil they, the quotation they, you don't need everything that's advertised to you at all. And if you can be at peace with yourself, as often as possible and with everything around you, like even when you shouldn't be. And that, I mean, that is something people say. It's like God gives you a peace that doesn't make sense. And the thing is, and this is what I was speaking to before, it's never going to be the case that you learn something and then it just is now. Like you can't hold on. Like you'll have that beautiful moment where like it's literally a revelation, like someone explained it, like maybe you've heard it before, but it's like, oh, you experience what it actually is. Like it's like, okay, this. And then 10 minutes go by and you're thinking about other stuff. Like it takes a lot. It takes so much practice to settle in with what you even want to settle into. Like, and that's the thing. Like you have to determine your aim. You have to choose. You have to put in effort. You have to continually practice, and you have to do so without the outcome of having it in mind. And that's an impossible standard. And I guess we need a savior. Like, man. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Again, I said it before. It's action. Go make peace. It's not just be someone that has peace. I mean, good luck with that. But go and make peace. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Which sounds... Okay, this is something that's actually been just on my mind a lot. And it's like, frankly, the world is awful. Like, it's so good. There's so many beautiful things. But, like, you read the news for a little bit. Like, there's genuine genocides happening now in the world. There's, I mean, okay, controversial, and I'd love to talk, like, I mean, no one watches this, but, like, if you did, and it's triggering to hear this as a take, and now, like, your perspective of me shifts because I don't value people's bodily autonomy and that whole explanation of it. First of all, I do, and again, talking to multiple things being true at the same time, I could explain my view entirely on abortion, but I think the simple fact that those that argue for the right to have it use literally the Lord's words, "This is my body," to then actively do something to harm someone that is not themselves, where the very context of the Lord was him giving up his body for others, it's at least vile. It's at least vile and just tainting it. But yeah, you know what, that's a perfect example, because it's something socially, in society, at work, at school, especially at school, it's something like I have to pretend to be okay with. It's like, no, there's people that advocate, like, I mean, just however you want to look at it, Planned Parenthood came to be from, like, you look at the history of the company, the CEOs were, they discriminate, like, it is deliberately formulated for colored people to populate less. Like, that like, I can't imagine something much more evil than killing people in a way where they actually fight for the right to do it themselves. And it's like, but it's like, I'm dropping a bomb in a conversation if I bring that up with someone. It's like, there's so much in this world that's so profoundly evil, it hurts. And it's like, and tying back to verse 10, when I really started to feel an experience and like just be so overwhelmed and lost by that, like, I really started to just imagine and be at peace and understand that like this life, every bit of this life matters, but like there is eternal life where there's none of this, and it's again paradoxical. Like it's an impossible thing to say. First of all, like I am in no way suicidal, but I yearn for heaven. Like I genuinely like, and just that alone makes me. And reading scripture, like it makes me double think like everything I'm doing, just like going by and getting my degree, whatever. It's like maybe I'm meant to say what's on my mind, and the thing, like frankly, what's stopping me? Like it's hard not to think of what people would think and what people have to say, but it's like they don't understand anyway. But just use a perfect example, someone who actually just did that and started to look into things and was just chasing the truth and was bold every second of the way and could explain every bit he would ever argue for, who then was shot in front of his family, is Charlie Kirk. And again, like that's an absolute bomb being dropped in a conversation, and it's controversial. It's like, oh, he's racist, oh, like yada yada yada. How many hours do you have on TikTok? How many, like, your worldview is shaped by short form media, bro. Like, you're, like, I think people, this is projecting, because I do hold this view to some extent. They're like, politicians are, like, not great people sometimes. But it's like, if you genuinely think about it, they are, I mean, they're human beings, first of all. Second, they're successful enough and work enough and bold enough to let their position be thrown up for, like, a vote every few years. It's like, you think, it's like, oh, this person, like, I can't stand this person. It's like, you're not doing that. Like, I can't imagine the stress someone must be under, from both sides. Like, a politician, regardless of what side you're on and what level of government, it's like, you're literally putting yourself up to complete scrutiny by everyone on your own side. And, like, and then people that are genuinely, like, pursuing truth and, like, are honest with themselves and want the best for themselves, for their family, for their community around them. Like, they'll be most critical of those on their side that they think are messing up. It's like, you are literally just putting yourself out to the slaughter as a politician, no matter what views you have or present. Like it doesn't matter. You are being accused. But I do think one thing that is misrepresented though is people using the word of God or their faith or image of having faith to say things anything other than what Scripture explicitly preaches. Because and then that opens a whole can of worms of different denominations and like the church itself having different doctrines, which like is something. But like that's what I mean. I think if you're using your faith as a politician, and then first of all, that's presupposing that is a wrong way of looking at it. You do not use faith. You do not use God. You do not use religion. Even God himself, Jesus, said, "Let your will be done." And I think that's what a lot of this is speaking to. I think also just the persecutions. I mean, like obviously you look at church history and stuff like Council of Nicaea. People were showing up with missing limbs. Like Christianity was illegal in the Roman Empire for quite some time, and then even nowadays it's starting to be outlawed in places of the world, or like Nigeria, that there's literally Christians being massacred. People that have faith in God are persecuted, but and that does matter, and you should mourn. And it's all of these things seem contradictory, but it points back to the same thing, that the truth is greater than the different aspects of the truth that seem paradoxical, and it only makes sense. Like that's a just big part of the impossibility of God, because it's a standard that's not human. Like if you're ultra conservative, Jesus is like a socialist to you. If you are super progressive, it's way too traditional and conservative. Whatever view you have, whatever you're worshiping that isn't Christ, reading scripture reveals what you need to let go, and that's painful and that's hard, and you should mourn. And you will be persecuted because people aren't willing to deal with that pain within themselves, which necessarily so. And that I'm a perfect example of that. If anyone even just not even bringing up Christ, I couldn't imagine that happening. I probably would have said awful things at points in my life if someone confronted me about Jesus when I was, binge drinking in high school and just generally not, I didn't want to be alive, but I still made it worse for everyone around me. I was I couldn't stand it. I just utter hedonist. I had no compass. I got through. I don't know. But yeah, when at that point in my life, if someone confronted me about just truth and goodness itself, it probably would have caused me to persecute them, is what I was trying to say. I would have hated them. It would have angered me so much because of how honest it was, just pulling out the shortcomings of my entire being. And the thing is, you always will. Like I said, it is an impossible standard that seems to contradict itself, but it's no, it's just because it's not human. It's God. And it's more beautiful than what you can even imagine. And you can't withhold it yourself. Only He pouring Himself into you. And that's all Jesus does. And all of His teachings point to. Blessed are you when others revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For so they persecuted the prophets who came before you. Yeah, a lot of what I just said. Yeah. Which you see that time and time again. Someone who's done great things. It's in their lifetime. Some people were meant for greater things than they even had to got to experience in their lifetime. And it's how is that not the case? I mean, perfect example. Dostoevsky did not sell much in during his life. He was not a crazy successful author, but he's literally considered one of the greatest novelists ever. How he's more alive now than when he was alive. I think that's what it's speaking to. And I mean that both literally, that is the case symbolically, but if you choose to believe, you'll start to feel that it is the case. I mean, again, literally might not be the right way to say. I do think spirituality is literally real, but it's not the same as like this whiteboard being literally real. But it's, I mean, because you'll also be beyond time at that point. But regardless, things bad, and you'll feel that and experience that, and you should also feel bad about the things being bad. But the good to come, if you're aimed at it properly and let yourself be poured upon by that goodness, will then pull you into the goodness after this life that is more life than you can even fathom currently. Now let's move on to salt and light. Or shall we wait, because that was already over an hour. Yeah, you know what? That'll be it for the Beatitudes. I don't know. Do I keep going? Yeah, well, we'll stop there for now. Heaven is calling, and it's not always going to seem how you think it should. There will always be a mystery of how and why that even in heaven will be more so the case. I mean, it's I've seen a bit of Thomas Aquinas. You will only understand just how much you don't understand God in heaven. And you're not meant to. But that doesn't mean that He can't love you and be present with you if you just will for that to be. And the more pure, the more poor, the more meek you are as you just orient yourself towards truth, righteousness, mercy. Because what else is there to do? Like, what is otherwise? Like, I think there's so many levels of analysis you can approach like any one of these texts, but like the pericope is literally just Beatitudes, if you want to. It's like there anything else, you have to be dishonest with yourself to claim is a better way. Like it really just is the attitude that you need to be. And need's not the right, like, you'll always fall short, but you always can try. And by grace, you'll be filled with a love